What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the All In Effect with your host, Dave Pookie, and I got my guy, Myles Raposo. What's up, Myles?
What's going on, brother? How's it going, man?
Guys, today and always as of now, our podcast is brought to you by All In's All In Performance Supplements. Yeah, we might as well just jump right into that, guys. We have started a supplement company bringing you pretty much all the basics that you're going to need in your life to level up. We got creatine, glutamine, organic grass-fed whey proteins, pre-workout, aminos, you name it. We got you covered. Something that really, has been a lifelong dream of mine, 20 years into the fitness industry. And I'm sure I can say the same for Myles. Super fired up. Cannot wait to share this with you guys. Show you guys. Myles and I have, we've just done what anybody else going after the dream has done. And if you're listening, man, it's just about taking action and turning those dreams and ideas into real life.
100%, brother. Yeah, you said it best, and it's exactly that. Just going after, taking action, taking messy action. It doesn't need to be perfect. We talked about that on the last one. There's no perfect time. The time is now, and I mean, pretty unreal, man. Sitting here with the product in our hands, right? The apparel, the supplements. I mean, it turned out better than I anticipated, to be honest. Proud of it. Veteran owned, still serving in the Canadian Armed Forces myself. It's incredible, man. It's been a hell of a journey. And everything Dave said, we got all the basics. You can see it in the back. Okay, I got the supplements lined up. We got our proteins, BCAAs. We're going to be having the pre-workout coming. All right, your creatine test booster. We got coffee. We got collagen coffee creamer. Unreal, man. Had it this morning, vanilla flavored. Close to no fat, no carbs, all protein. A great way to get that collagen in. Just stuff that we would use ourselves.
Yeah, and you nailed it, and again, when we say this episode is brought to you by that, I mean, today is, I guess, the first day we really talked about the supplements, and it's all about that why not mentality. Because that the thing that held me back forever in a lot of areas of my life was just not really knowing where to start, and understanding that that's the biggest part of starting. You're never really gonna know where to start. You literally just got to, it's like putting your shoes on. You just literally tie them up and you start walking, and you're going to reach a lot, you're going to see a lot of roadblocks, a lot of obstacles, and understand that you got two options. Okay. Cause you're going to be hit with so many obstacles literally in your journey of any sort of entrepreneurship. And you can either think of every reason why to fold and be like, oh, this can't work, or, but if you look out there and someone else, lots of other people are doing what you're doing, there's always a way. So it's switching that mindset to solution-based instead of problem-based, and understanding that you have to figure out a way to get around the problems no matter what, or just you cannot start at all and sit back one day and man, I wish I would have done that. And those are your two options.
I mean, to one extent, it's interesting because it's like I'm 32 years old. And you got to be realistic about, we've talked about this, you got to be realistic about your goals in a sense, right? I'm not going to go play in the NHL. I mean, I'm not going to happen. I'm 32 years old, right? But I could have, if I had dedicated my life to that at a young age, and that's what I wanted, and I went all in on that. There's no reason why you can't accomplish something, right? So, and now I'm in that position where it's like, if that's what I wanted, it's too late. Well, same thing with this, man. We're looking at this movement. We're moving forward. Now is the time. I don't want to be sitting there at 60 years old saying, fuck, man, I should have gone after that dream.
Dude, you just nailed it. I just taking what you just said there and made me think back in my early teenage years. And that's kind of that is what our brand represents. If I was actually all in, on some of the things I did in life, because it's easy to be, talk about your being about it. But man, when you're all in, you can literally almost accomplish, quitting and not achieving that goal isn't really an option, because the outside distractions And if you look at my life, it's because, I only give experiences off what I have experience in. And most of the things that I'm like, I look back on my junior hockey career, I fucked it up because I wasn't all in. And everything I've ever gone all in on works, because when you're all in, you don't have a plan B. Quitting is not an option. And then you really start looking at those obstacles as opportunities instead of problems. And that's what our brand represents. And it's the same thing when it comes to, the personal development journey. Like, it's not just fitness. I've been all in on fitness for fucking 20 years. I've had an 8-pack. But it wasn't until I went all in on my life, going back to those, it's just saying about how those outside circumstances, people's opinions, negative friends, they can't stop me because I'm all fucking in.
That's
And,
right.
people that aren't, they're gonna be like, well, you sound like a crazy person. I'm like, well, if this is what crazy is, I'm the craziest motherfucker I know in my life now.
Totally. Yeah, you got to be there, man. You do. You have to be there, and you have to believe in it too. And I think it's very important to identify and acknowledge that you have to go all in on something that you're genuinely passionate about. It needs to resonate with you. It needs to be in line with your values and what you believe in this world, right? It can't be. I think unfortunately for a lot of people, this stuff it's greed, it's money driven. It's they what's the goal? Oh, I just want to get rich. It can't be about that. That's not what it's about. It's about being in line with your goals. It needs to be something that actually moves you, inspires you, when it gives you goosebumps, man. You know what it's like. I know you've been there, man. Listening
Dude, I
to the
get it with
motivation,
this.
I get it with this, and that's why this will
Yeah.
work. And
Yeah.
when I was out there listening to the motivational speakers, looking up to the athletes that I admired, and like, man, those moments where like it gave you the goosebumps, man. It fired you up. You wanted to get in the gym and just go train like an animal. And it's got to be something that resonates deeply with your soul, man. And that's what this is. And and that's why it doesn't feel like, don't get me wrong, it's time consuming. This has been very, very we're all in on this. No
Well,
bullshit.
that's a great point, and I think one of the biggest things is like when you're all in, um, because what I won't even, my people in my life close to me, they no one, like you said, how much work it takes. No one at the start, like, there's two things. You like Number one, you have to be willing to fall flat on your face, and you got to be willing to be judged, criticized. People take little shots at you. Oh, hey, like, how is that supplement company coming, or idea?
100%. PPCLI
And
represent.
you got to
Boys.
be willing to be laughed at. You got to be willing, because so many people, and I was one of them, especially in my friend circles. I was so afraid of being of other people's opinions who don't even have good opinions of themselves. I was afraid of
Right.
other people's, oh, what if they think, like, I don't want to be laughed at, or I don't want to be talked about. So I'll just do nothing, because that's the
Right.
easiest way not to be talked about. Is just I'll just do nothing. And then I would wait for this validation to come. And I'm like, these motherfuckers ain't ever going to give it to me. And a lot of people think, well, if the people closest to me aren't supporting this idea, it's because your idea should sound crazy to other people, and it's so out of their imagination that it's doable. They're like, well, if they're not supporting me, fuck, I guess I'm just crazy and I'm not even going to try. But if you wait for it's only until you see the product in your hand, you get messages like, holy shit, bro, that looks sick. 5
Right.
months ago, we were the crazy ones.
Totally. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
even you and
Sure.
I were like, we talk about it, how it's like when you take that messy action, and guys listening, if you want to start something at the beginning, there's going to be nothing to show for it. It's just an idea. You're going to be like, oh, you're talking, and a month, 2 months will go by, and you're like, fuck, is this happening? And boom, 4 months goes by. You look back, you kind of laugh at the start, because, wow, this is in my hands. This is real. This thing I talked and not just wished but worked for is actually a reality. Like, this is possible. And then you slowly build more confidence by that continuous progress and continuous action.
For sure, man. I don't, yeah, there's something that's just sticking out to me right now, too. It's kind of just came to me, and it's like, none of these things happen if you don't deserve it. It's like when I was in a place in my life where I just wasn't living authentically, and I didn't like none of this stuff was happening. That's not where my mind was at. I wasn't
You would
executing
have
this.
folded. You would have folded so
I would have
fast.
folded, man, but the opportunities never came, Dave. You and I
Mhm.
never connected until I was in a
Nope.
place to receive that. The partners we work with, the people we work with, everybody that's involved in this believes in us. They trust us. And that only comes through consistent action and moving in the right direction, man. So you really do have to be in a place morally. You need to be in a place as an individual in all aspects of life, in mind, body, and soul. And all of a sudden, these things start unfolding. That's really what we're all about, man. It's not just a training program. It's not just a nutritional program. It's being in line with the person that you have the potential to be.
Well, man, you nailed it. Because no one's going to give an unready motherfucker an opportunity if they
No,
ain't ready. You
no.
know what I mean? Like, and that's like, that goes for like, God, that goes for, and that's like what we always talk about to the boys and the girls and like, our team and our community is like, guys, and I see it all the time, and I would say it's guys more than girls because, we've been talking about girls. They're badasses, a lot of them, especially the ones that work with us. They're all in. But guys, it's like
Yeah.
they're okay with like. I'm like, dude, do you not see? You get the well. That's why I'm single all the time. Well, shit, man. Would you date you? Like, look at your life. Like, do you not understand that when you become better, like if you don't do like, you look at anybody in our field that I look up to because you need to have role models that you want to be like, and that's why we talk about we'll get into the opinions things. But when you
Yeah.
look at these people, like you don't get a good partner by being a loser. You don't get. You have to become the person you admire. And then when you become that, when on that journey, then you'll start see. Oh, wait, maybe there is there is a couple good ones out there because I'm not a shit one anymore. And
It's
people
all it's
think that
Yeah, we hear it all the time, man. You hear it all the time. A lot of people speak about it. I genuinely believe in it, man. It's there's high frequency and low frequency individuals. People operating in shame and guilt and living their lives in this low frequency state, man. That's what you're gonna get. That's what you're gonna attract. If you're out there every day, waking up, executing, you're motivated. And motivation's gonna come and go, but you're disciplined enough to carry out what needs to be done in order to accomplish the things you want in life, and you just start operating at a higher frequency and people see it. When you walk in a room and somebody walks in with that presence, a command presence, we call it in the military. When a leader walks in the room and they have that presence, that's required to move forward. That is required to instill confidence in the individuals that you're
dude, you know
leading.
what's crazy? You know what's crazy? I was just thinking, like when I was younger, Ash and I watched this movie the other night, Celine or Salin or something. I don't know, but it was about college, and I was just like, man, you nailed it, man. Like, how were you saying, like frequency? Like when I was a loser, and I would hang around other winners, and I'm just going to use this phrase, winners are never going to want to hang out with losers. Seriously.
Right.
Like that's why winners hang out together. That's a broad term, winners and lose life. But when I was a loser, there was a reason I felt like a little like out of my league. Cause I was a fucking loser. I was getting blackout drunk, So the feeling was real because no kidding, none of these people are gonna want to hang out, be around me.
Totally.
Period. And
Yeah, you
that's
got to
why.
police yourself first, man. You got to clean up you got to clean out, the inside first. You got to all the little things, your habits, the way you're conducting yourself. There's a lot you can deal with, and all of a sudden, the winners, they'll see, man. They'll see. It's this invisible energy that you notice, and you start to notice when somebody, hey, man, okay, this guy is who he says he is. I can
They don't
just
have
feel.
to try fit in. That you
No,
can
man.
see. They just. I heard this thing the other day too. I was a buddy of mine. I think it was his Instagram story, and he was just going off about how like this is the year of no negativity, and he was like, I don't want to sound like an influencer, but I said to Ash, I'm like, wait a second, is that because how much, and I guess my point is like it's got to a point sometimes where you look around and it's like cool, it's not cooler, but it's more of a norm to live in a negative lifestyle. Like if you're
Oh,
positive and you're out spreading positivity, it's like, What kind of twisted fucking society are we living in that, oh, I don't want to be an influencer? Wait a second. So you're saying if you need to spread good energy on social media, that makes you an influencer? That's a bad thing?
We live in a
But you know
broken
what I
state,
mean? It's,
and we live in a broken state right now. That's a great topic, actually. I'd like to get into. It's a crazy world, man, and of course everybody has their opinion. But there's a saying. This is going off the top of my head. It's not. Don't quote me. It's not exactly like this, but it's something along the lines of, hard men create good times. Good times create soft men, and soft men create hard times, and it's a cycle like that. And it's so true, man. I heard it on Joe Rogan spoke about it on his podcast, and it's what we're in this state right now where everybody expects a handout. Everyone wants a handout. Everyone thinks that they should be able to take it easy, be comfortable, sit in this state of of disgust. To me, it's disgusting. It's people are sitting there in this comfort and they expect the world to be handed to them. People don't think they need to work for things anymore. It's though everyone is. We have to accept everyone for who they are, and no one's really in line with any kind of value anymore. It's kind of just wishy-washy. People can just be whoever the fuck they want to be today and change their minds tomorrow. And like, how do you move forward like that? You don't
and you
know
want to
who
know
you
why
are.
you want to know why there's so much hate and negativity? Because I've been disgusted with myself. I've been that exact person you're talking about.
Mhm.
And I hated everybody deep down around me. But you want to know why? I hated myself.
Totally.
So I was incapable of spreading positivity. Like you'll never see a happy motherfucker out there hating. You'll
So
just
true.
never see it.
It's
You
so
will
true,
never
man.
see. Dude, you and I, and guys, you're listening. I had friends before, and they're still miserable motherfuckers. Shit, they're still watching my shit. They preyed on my downfall. Now you got to watch me win, motherfucker. And I know that sucks even more. You should have known I wasn't a quitter. But on that record, like I was in like I looked where my life was shitty. I was in like chat groups of like people and businesses I own that were supposed to be leaders, and we were making fun of people. And
Right.
I had to go to one of a couple of my friends that still came to my, and I had to own up like, hey man, because these motherfuckers will never tell you that they were shit talking because they shit talk everybody. But I
Right.
had to go out of my own morals and be like, hey dude, I just want to let you know that I was in a group and I made fun of you, and I'm embarrassed. Okay, I'm embarrassed as a man because first off. Before I say the next part, imagine being gossip. What a wild world. Imagine sitting around talking about other people doing shit. I've been there.
Right.
What a pathetic way to live your life.
And I
It
think the
just
other part that goes with that, man, is like kind of ties into Dave. One of the topics we had here was putting yourself out there, right? The fear of criticism, right? And the bottom line with what you just said is that people are going to talk. Every
Mhm.
people are going to talk. People are going to judge. It's human nature. It's inevitable. This is going to happen. But the thing about that, man, if you really step outside of it, put yourself in other people's shoes, put yourself there. Even if you think about somebody, you notice something, you
Yeah,
might mention something within your circle. How
bro, you and I do it. We caught ourselves, and
yeah,
this is how you know. Like we're like you're like, hey man, we like someone in our space that we're kind of laughing at. Let's just be honest. But I'm like, hey, I don't know if it was you or me, but we're like, hey, this is doing us
I don't
no
want to be
service to our own life.
yeah,
So we're like, bro, we're like, you know what I mean? We were actually aware that like I'm being a hater right now. I think I don't even know why, and it's like it's almost like the point where, like, what am I doing? It's almost embarrassing, you know,
sure. So
because
I
knowing
believe
that,
this, and people say that it's human nature. I want to look at people from a
yeah,
psychological standpoint that like no matter what you're
hmm
going to enter, man, you enter a
yes,
building and you start judging situations. You start
yeah,
judging instantly. You start. That's how we acknowledge people. Are we attracted? Are we unattracted? Are we? What is this person wearing? You're judging what people are constantly. It's normal. That's normal. We do it every day subconsciously, whether you think about it or not. The thing about that is people are going to talk shit. People are going to say whatever they want to say, but if you put yourself in their shoes, how long do you actually care? Even if you talk about somebody or you notice something, it's gone like that because you're too busy being worried
Winning.
about yourself. You're too
Yep.
busy with your own stuff. If you're going to
Dude,
execute,
you look at the person, and this is all I ever do. Because, people are a bit like, people are always going to talk shit. Well, bro, it's never the black belt in jiu-jitsu talking shit about the white belt for starting. It's never the millionaire entrepreneur laughing at the brand new person. They're usually the black belts helping the white belt, the millionaire's helping the new guy. It's only the losers on the sidelines talking about the people in the game. So when you think about who would be talking, you just go look and you're like, huh, I don't give a fuck what this
you said
guy's
it,
opinion is,
you
because
said
I
it.
would never want to live his life in a million fucking years.
That's right.
So you keep talking and I'm going to keep winning. And
And
that's
that's
the mindset of any fucking winner.
100%, man. And you said it best. You said it in some of your posts, and I love it, man. It's people only hate on what they gave up on. And you know what they gave up on? They gave
Write that
up.
down, because that's the most
That down.
truest statement in
Because
the world.
what you know what they gave up on? They gave
Hit
up
me with
on
that little drum roll. Hold up.
I don't even know which button it is. We're gonna I think we got clap.
Random.
We got the laugh. We got the intro.
Guys,
We're gonna be playing around with this for sure. We'll get some sound effects tomorrow. But this thing's
straight up, man, that quote is just, it's the truest. It's the truest quote in the fucking world, man. And God,
Yeah.
and when you realize that you can, I mean, what was the one topic we had today about the time? Was it time?
Well, time in general, man. We got putting yourself
Dude,
out there, self-love.
We got
and
the time. Well, we're talking about it right now. You only got so much time in this life, man. And when, I think I got into that when my mom had cancer, really hit me. But it's like, this is a perfect transition, because, guys, if you're in a place in your life where you're not happy and you're spending time hating on people, man, do you know how much time you're wasting? Like, if you spent that time that you're using, that's literally putting you backwards. Because when you spend time on putting out negativity, it puts you behind, not forward. And you put that towards your life to benefit yourself, holy shit, you will be tenfold. You'll 10 times your life if you just switch that energy around.
Yeah. Yeah. So true, man. It's time, and time is the most valuable asset we have, really, but it's constantly slipping. It's not something that you can buy. It's not something you can ever get back. It's not something you can grow. It's time is the most valuable thing we have, but yet we want to piss it away. Literally, people saying to, what do you do? Just killing time. Just wait. Man, I gotta wait. It's next. I got this thing coming up next week. So, what am I gonna do today? I'm just gonna just kill some time, man. Fuck, I can't wait till tomorrow. Can't wait till next week. Well, how about this present moment, man? People are so caught up in the past, depression associated with the past, and anxiety associated with the future. Like, let's focus on today. Let's execute today so that our
You
future.
want to know how much people love time?
How much?
People love it so much, and the quote. I think it's one of our favorite quotes. Listen, bro, if I gave you $10 million, but you couldn't wake up tomorrow.
That's right.
And that's this is probably one of my favorite quotes to just to remember about your own life. $10 million, and you could not wake up tomorrow. I don't even need to ask you if you would say yes or no. I already know your answer is fuck no. I'm not taking that $10 million for today. So you're telling me your life's worth $10 million. That's what you're telling me. Look at the way you're living. You better be living that way.
It's
because
wild,
your
right?
life is worth 10. One day in your life is worth 10 million bucks. That's how valuable fucking time is right there. Because when you realize it's running out, man, and it will run out one day. And that's a reminder, like, why we do what we do. Why? Like, I like what you said about, you're 32, I'm 36. Like, I know as you get older, I start realizing that, like, man, these good old days are right in front of me, right here, right now. I don't want to wake up at fucking 80 years old. I watch my dad have Alzheimer's right now and be like, I can see, I never had my dad in my life. And now that he's pretty much losing his mind, me want, just because I know I'm strong enough, watching that, and it makes me realize that, man, this guy missed out on his kids, well, on my side of my family, his grandchildren. It's just like, holy shit. You think this guy ever planned for that, even though it's all his fault? Because we make our bed, we lay in it, and as sad as that is, but like, that's what happens, man. If you think you have forever and you don't put priorities in the places they should be, which is number one, yourself, because when and the people around you. And it's such a reality check to start that business, to ditch those negative friends, to remember that you ain't getting another shot at this year. You're never going to get another 2024. You ain't getting today.
Yeah, Peterson said it, man. Jordan Peterson on that one like he literally says, you're all in. You're all in on this thing we call life, whether you like it or not, man. Like you're here and you're gonna die one day. Like you're all in on this thing. So if you could just step out of yourself for a moment and look at the big picture and realize that you have a purpose. You were put here to write this story. The pages in front of you are empty, man. The chapters are empty. You hold the pen and you get to write this thing. What a gift. What a gift that is. You know how many, the chances of us being here scientifically it's a miracle. The fact that we're here, and we piss it away and take it for granted every single day. We treat it like it's this fucking curse, man. I got to get up today, man. I got all this stuff to do. I got these problems. Man, you get to get up. You get to figure out how to overcome these problems, to build the confidence and to gain experience through all of it. It's a lesson, man. You get to learn from all of this and you get to create whoever you want to be. That's on you. Bottom line. So what are we going to do today? Are we going to get up and start moving towards that? Or are we going to just sit here and just kill some time?
Well, it's so funny too. Like you never regret going for it. I've never regretted anything in my life that I've ever gone all in on. I've never been like, oh, I wish I didn't try. You don't say that. It's only the reverse effect. That's it.
Totally, man. Yeah, no, I talked about it, I think, on the first one. And, I look back on that, and one big like failure for me, right, was going to do special forces selection in the Canadian Armed Forces Tier 1 Special Operations Unit. I wanted to be a JTF2 assaulter, which was a very ambitious goal to go after. And like I finished the selection process, 7 days of grueling military training, stuff I can't talk about and stuff I'm not going to talk about here. And I finished that process. To put it in perspective, there were like 9 of us that finished my serial out of
Same.
Right. Like, I mean, there were very few. And out of those 9 on my serial, like 3 of them got picked up. I never got picked up. So it was a major like defeat for me, right, to come back. But I never look back on that experience and say, fuck, like I wish I never bothered.
Yeah.
You know how much I gained through that experience wise to know that
I was going to say, you probably learned the most valuable lesson of your life.
The fact that I was able to go there and finish that and put myself through those trials and put myself through that grueling experience and come out on the other side, not tapping out. I didn't give up. I didn't quit.
Well, and
I've been able to carry that confidence with me for the rest of my life. You got to go after it, man. You got to go fucking try. And I'm telling you right now, from my experience, man, it's not always going to work out. It might not work out the way you wanted it to work out, but it will benefit you. Don't give up on yourself. You go all in on yourself and everything you want. That's what we are. That's what we stand for. And that's who we want in our circle, man.
Well, and like you said, you probably learned the most valuable lesson of your life. Like if you were the person morally, you would have been selected,
Yeah, for sure. And for me to sit here
and I say that in a way like I have, it's completely out of my field, but I know, you know what I mean? That's the moral of the story. That's the biggest lesson.
Oh, 100%. Like from a physical standpoint, I know, and people know, like I'm a very physically fit individual. Went in there, crushed all that. And just integrity issues, telling them things I thought they wanted to hear when it wasn't in fact the truth about who I was and how I conducted myself and whatever. Just my true colors, your true colors always show, especially under adversity. That's a big one. You guys, adversity will show you your true colors. Adversity is going to show you who you really are, because the way you conduct yourself under challenging circumstances is who you truly are. It's not who you are on the perfect days when everything's going fine, because everyone can put on a smile on that day. But if you're able to conduct yourself with integrity, you get up and keep moving forward under the most challenging circumstances, you're unstoppable.
Dude, you fucking nailed it. And that's why if you do, it's just, that is such a good point, because that's why most people don't start these projects, man, in their life that they want to, because they ain't ready. When you are that person, you become that person morally, you work on yourself. You already know when you start that journey, because when the hard times come and you ain't about it, about yourself, literally, you will fold. You will
Yes.
fold 100% of the time. But when you are ready, because let's face it, when you go after the dream, set whatever that is, there is so more than not, I would say, days that are not perfect. So if
Of course.
you ain't ready, meaning if you don't do the work on yourself, because once you become that person, you're like, all right, I'm ready to handle some diversity and some adversity. Sorry, I'm ready to handle some hard times. Then you're able to go after that said dream you want, because you are the person that can overcome it, because you've already overcome your own self-growth. You're putting in the work. You're overcoming that past person. You're becoming that new person. Then you're ready. And I think that's a great reminder for myself why I failed at times and things, because I was never ready for the hard times, because I was already giving myself a hard time in my own life. I wasn't ready for more. I could hardly handle my own.
Totally. Yeah, that's the truth, isn't it, man? Is it? Yeah. Are you ready? Are you even ready for the adversity? Right. I
Seriously.
mean, at the end of the day, too, what better objective or goal is there really to wake up every day and prepare yourself for the inevitable adversity that's coming? Life's not going to be perfect. There's going to be challenges. Like, it doesn't matter what it is, man. I didn't ask to wake up in the morning and get bad news. Whatever it is, you don't know what's coming, because you can't control people, places, things, and situations. You can only control yourself. So if I can't control external circumstances, you better believe there's some negative shit coming down the pipe. And
Oh
when it
yeah.
comes, you better be ready to face it. And you prepare yourself every day, man. You either get up and get the job done, or you sit there in comfort, hit the snooze button, sleep in. I'm gonna stay home,
Yeah.
play video games today. I'm not
Feel
gonna,
more let down.
and all of a sudden challenges start coming, and you fold, and you fold, right? So,
Dude, it's so
awesome.
crazy, like when you say
And
it
that's
like
that
that.
kind of, it's true, right? It brings, and self love, man. I mean, that's what kind of,
You can
it's,
always
of
quit,
course you can.
when like the fear is kicking in, you're like, we've overcome all the obstacles anyway. It ain't that bad. I've had times that have been, I always tell myself, like, man, is this the worst thing that's ever happened to me? 90% of the time, it's no. You know what I mean? So I've overcome all those. And what's the worst case scenario? I quit. That's it. That's the literal worst case scenario
Yeah,
for most of the time. Like, if I'm ever overwhelmed, I
that
always
is the
try to
worst.
remind myself that.
That is the worst case.
And then,
And I don't know.
and
Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
I can't really like picture quitting.
yeah,
To me, that is the worst case scenario, to give
I
up,
know.
to just quit, just to
I always,
throw in the towel.
dude, I tell Ash, my wife, and too, like when we talk about business, I'm like, can always go back, because and I just always use the term winning and losing in my life, because those are how I define my life personally. Just this is my personal experience, and I can always go back to being a loser. The loser option never goes away. It's actually like, come on, buddy, come on, you
Yeah,
ready to come back? You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
It's You want a couple nose beers there, bud? Let's go for a couple drinks.
Sure, dude,
Talk about
100%.
how we quit and talk about how we quit.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, yeah, that's the thing too, is it's always going to be knocking on the door, the vices and negative, all the negative aspects of our past. They're going to be there. They're going to knock, man. That's going to be a
Dude, the
constant
inner
thing.
demons.
It doesn't go anywhere, man. I had
Just waiting.
years
Waiting.
waiting, man. They're out there doing push-ups, getting stronger while you're working on yourself. So are your demons. Your demons are getting stronger too. And if you're not working on yourself, they're gonna get you, man. They're gonna be there, and you have to be ready to face that. And you can't forget where you came from and the challenges you went through, man. Use those wins and the adversity that you've overcome to build confidence, but also don't forget how fucking miserable it was to be that piece of shit. Because it most certainly was a very miserable existence, a very miserable place to be. And I don't ever want to slip for a moment and say, you know what, tonight I'm going to go out and have that drink. Tonight I'm going to go and pick up and use with my friends, or sit here and use behind closed doors. It's not an option, because I know where that leads. And it's not where I want to be.
Dude, you nailed it. And like, if you're listening and you think we're preaching or you're all that, whatever, man. Like, hey, maybe this isn't the path for you, but I love my life. I don't need to run from it. I run to it. And for me, when I would, do drugs or drink, all I was ever doing was wanting to slip away a little bit. Just maybe forget, maybe just forget, but life's too short to be forgetting the moments and running from it, man. It's so special. It's so short. And when you run all in on your life, man, the journey it's beautiful. It's painful a lot of times, but it's very, very rewarding. And you start realizing that the only person you need to run into is you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, Dave. I think that's really bang on, man. You have to. At the end of the day, the only person, you come into this world alone and you're leaving alone. The only person you got at the end of the day is close. I mean, people have their families, their kids, their loved ones, their wives, whatever your wife, whatever it is. It's like, at the end of the day, man, like, you're leaving here alone.
No one lives in that head, man. No one lives in this head other than me. No one feels the pain. No one feels those moments of joy. It's all, it really is. That's why it always comes down to, I used to think it was like, and thank God my wife stood by me, Ashley. My last relationship failed because more than anything, all I ever relate anything to is I was never the right person for anybody else, regardless who it was.
Yeah, that's the truth. Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah.
And that's
You're
what I've
never,
learned.
no relationship's gonna work, man.
No.
A lot of people that stay in a very miserable place for a long period of time trying to make something work, but people are trying to work on the relationship when what they need to work on is themselves. You work on yourself, and sometimes you need to take some time. You need to go do that. You need to do whatever it is, man. So, like, if you're listening, man, I've been there. Okay, if you have to go and seek out help, go get help. Go deal with your problems. Go clear your mind of the garbage, man, that's keeping you tied down, and get yourself to a baseline. Get back to a baseline where you are no longer clouded, where you can think clearly, where you're able to intellectualize what your emotions and what's going on, and process everything with a clear mind. You got to get rid of the vices, man. You got to drop the alcohol, you got to drop the drugs, you got to give up the tobacco and the nicotine and the things that are keeping you tied down, and be left with you, your conscience, your thoughts, and being able to process them and handle that internally as a man. Not going out and clouding it up with, go smoke the joint, go have the drink, go rip the line, whatever it is. You can't use these things to cover up those emotions. You got to be able to manage it and deal with it like a man with a clear mind, and process that. Once you're in a place to deal with those things and you can start working through those internal issues, only on the other side of that is the happiness that you've been looking for. You're not going to find it in another person, another relationship. You're not going to find it in your physical fitness or your competing in some sport. You're not going to find it in anything other than yourself. And that's my
Man,
experience.
that was so well put, bro. Man, guys, when you hear people think deal with it like a man, that doesn't mean just tough it out. No, it means look in the mirror, man. Look at that man in the mirror. Cry. Do
Yeah.
whatever you have to look back up in those eyes you see staring back at you and be like, I'm okay. I got this. I can move forward. I'm not my past. I'm not all my failures. I'm not the heartache and the heartbreak that I've caused myself, maybe other people have caused. That's what facing it like a man is. And when, like, I know, Myles, you nailed it, without running to the vices. That's what facing it like a man means, is looking in that mirror and look and asking myself. I ask myself all the time, do I love myself? And I didn't for so many years because I ran to the other things. And
I
it
wouldn't
wasn't
even
until I,
ask myself. I knew it.
yeah,
I didn't even,
yeah,
I wouldn't even bother asking, man. I just go cover it up. I was so afraid of all the shit I was carrying inside, man, that I wasn't ready to face it. I didn't want to deal with it. Let's just numb this out. I did that for years.
yeah. Guys, we're coming to the 40-minute mark. We like to keep our podcast around 30 minutes, but we got so much stuff coming, so many awesome things coming down the line. And we're really just, All In is more than a supplement company. It's more than a coaching program. It's a fucking lifestyle. And I'm so excited to share it. We're gonna be starting our YouTube channel. Hit us up with any questions you'd like to hear us talk about on the podcast. We're gonna make a little ask me a question thing on social media. If you guys
Yeah,
follow Myles and I, we'll talk a little more about our stories too. Myles has a story that I admire, and guys, the power is in your story. It's not the past. It's to power you forward. And I just can't wait for what's coming.
100%. Dave, thank you, man. I appreciate your time. I know we're both busy right now. We got a lot going on. So making this happen once a week for the people that are listening. You can find Dave at Dave Pookie on Instagram. Find myself at Myles Raposo on Instagram. And you can find the All In Effect on Instagram at the All In Effect. The supplements are going to be coming down the pipe, the apparel, all of it, all the above. Stay posted, you guys. This is truly it's a movement. It's something we believe in. It's a righteous act. This is our way of trying to make this world a better place and doing that one person at a time. We're fired up. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you guys next week.
Let's go.